friends, Dean here with Escape to Gaming. Today is kind of an overdue video, but I want to talk about 2017. It's going to be a great year for games. I've never seen so many new games coming to next gen or new gen consoles and PCs like this year. I think we're going to have a stellar year. I mean, the games that I've got listed here are only a portion of what's coming out, and certainly let me know in the comments the games that you're most looking forward to for 2017. A few of these that I'm listing I'm sure will be on that list, but these are the ones that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on, and the ones that I'm personally interested in getting. Whether I can afford to get them all or not will be something else, but I haven't even played Doom from this last year, so I'm dying to play this. I'm going to play this soon, as well as some of the gameplay from BioShock. I don't know if I'm going to go back and replay Infinite or just start from the beginning, but there's so many great games that came out last year that I missed out on, and I've had some wonderful gifts and a second chance of kind of getting to play some of those, which I'm looking forward to. But my God, it's going to be a great year. I can't wait to see so many of these games. I'll start off with one that I'm not sure. I think it'll be out by the holidays, probably later in the year, and that's the Star Wars Battlefront. Now, I think it's going to have a campaign. I'm sure it's going to have a single-player campaign. How long it'll be, 3.5 hours, 5 hours, who knows? But who knows? Maybe they could surprise us and have a really good campaign and story, which would be wonderful. So I'm going to be watching the Battlefront closely because it does have a campaign, and if I can play that offline, I'll certainly be getting that for sure. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I would love to see more of the same. This has been so fun in skirmish modes. In fact, I might have to play some more of this today. I've had so much fun with this. It's fantastic. Lately, I've just been doing a lot of the flying missions, which I hadn't really had a chance to play before, but I'm going to have to start playing the indoor maps and some of the other maps because it's so well done, and the production values are so high. So more of the same on this in 2017 would be quite welcome. Next is going to be... in fact, I think it's going to be the 31st of this month. In January of 2017 is going to be the episodic Hitman games. Now, this is my Hitman Absolution game, which I absolutely loved and reviewed back in late 2012. I wasn't elated. A lot of people have no issues with the episodes and kind of like them, I suppose. But to me, it's like... it just seemed like they were releasing the game in pieces. Just wait until it's all one game, and then I'll buy it. So I've been waiting to have that all on one disc. And I think it'll be coming out, I believe it's the 31st of January, they're going to have the Hitman episodic, or Season 1, or what, I don't know what it's called, but I'm very anxious to play it. I love this game. I love the series. I refuse to buy them as episodes. I said I'll wait and get a Game of the Year, end of the year edition. It'll have all the bells and whistles. And so that's the first game I'm looking forward to getting this year. Let me get my old man reading glasses on here. The next would be the Ghost Warrior 3. Now I've got Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. I've got Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 here. This is a very challenging game, a really good FPS game. Lots of stealth, great sniping, very satisfying. I don't like it quite as much as Sniper Elite 2. V2 or Sniper Elite 3, but it's a fantastic game, and I also have the first one. But the gameplay that I've seen of Sniper, or Ghost Warrior Sniper 3 looks fantastic. So I'm anxious to be watching more gameplay and previews on that, and certainly will be looking forward to it. The next in the series would be the Mass Effect Andromeda. Now I just recently got, like a month ago, this Mass Effect trilogy for the PlayStation 3. I got all of them for like $20. In a nice box set. It's a nice deal. It was one of those things I had to pick it up. I would have probably preferred getting it for the Xbox 360, but I already had maxed out my hard drive in that. In fact, I got to get a Xbox 360 Slim transfer cable to transfer the data from one Slim to another. I have the old style that you can go from the Xbox 360 Elite to the Slim, but so I can finally take advantage. I got a brand new 500 gig hard drive, but right now it's just jammed up. I've got it completely maxed out. I have to delete games on my 320 gig hard drive. So I've been buying a couple more games for the PS3 because of that. And I love the PlayStation 3. And I'm anxious to play these. Friends of mine are shocked. Dean, I can't believe you haven't played these Mass Effect games. And I haven't played the Star Wars Coder either. Knights of the Old Republic, which I have, and I've been anxious to play that as well, which I heard is quite similar. So this is going to be a long-awaited game. I'm sure Andromeda, you can play it on its own. I'm sure it'll have some kind of a backstory. I mean, I understood that the story was wrapped up by the time the third one came out, so I don't know if this is a prequel or it's just taking place in another universe or whatever, but I'm going to welcome it. The graphics look exceptional on it. I can't wait to play Mass Effect Andromeda. I know many of you are looking forward to it as well. The next one is a game called Cuphead, which I've heard about for, God, like a year and a half now. It looks like a great indie game. Kind of reminds me of the old cartoons from like the 1930s, those old black and white, really violent, kind of strangely demonic cartoons. A lot of the old Betty Boop cartoons, which I've got a whole bunch of on DVD. My wife is a huge fan of Betty Boop and has a tattoo of her on her arm and everything. And I love those old cartoons. There's just so much energy to them and just a lot of character. In this Cuphead game, it looks like they've channeled that perfectly. It looks like a fantastic indie title. Excellent boss battles, all done in this strangely eerie, cartoon style of the 1930s or whatever. I'm very anxious to see that game come out. The next one is Ace Combat 7. Now, I just this morning finally watched a trailer for it. I've had this list now for about a week and a half, and I've been anxious to talk about these games, but I was a huge Ace Combat fan back on the PlayStation 2 and played most of them. I don't think I played the last one, played 6, but I do have, I don't know what the hell it is, Ace Combat Assault Horizon or whatever it is, which is kind of a departure from that series. But this looks like it's going back to they're telling a story. It's kind of a futuristic setting. Ace Combat 7 looks really good. I love flying games, and I would welcome one on a new-gen system. So I'm going to look forward to Ace Combat 7. The game Prey. Now, here's the old game Prey. It's kind of interesting how, I guess, Bethesda's picked this up. And I don't know if it's id Software that's doing it. I can't remember or Arcane Studios, perhaps, but there's going to be a new Prey game. I think it'll be a departure from this old one, as great as this is. I finally got a mint copy of this. I've been dying to play this because it looks so good and so innovative. And it looks like they're kind of taking the Prey series and it's going in kind of a dark, almost a survival horror. It kind of reminds me of what they were planning on doing with the XCOM, the Bureau Declassified, how they had these black things that would kind of dissolve and these kind of phantom images and what have you. So it's some interesting visual things to it. Could be kind of a horror game, I'm not really sure, but it looks great, and I would welcome something as cool and innovative as that. So many of us will be looking forward to Prey. I think Bethesda's handling that one. The next one's one I'm really looking forward to. It's more of a co-op game, but it has a single-player campaign. They just showed some new single-player gameplay of it, and that's the Ghost Recon Wildlands. It's going to boast an enormous open world, kind of dealing with the drug cartels down in Colombia. You can drop in anywhere and do these incredible missions and commandeer, Hummers and military vehicles or old pickup trucks, what have you, on the ground. You'll probably have a crew of guys. It could be like a squad-based tactical shooter. We can, kind of like the old XCOM, not so much XCOM, but the old SOCOM games is what I'm thinking it's going to be. I'm not sure. So I've been watching a lot of E3 gameplay, and recently they've had some more gameplay in the way of co-op as well as single-player gameplay. But I'm really looking forward to that. I think the graphics will be fantastic. Hopefully it can be an offline single-player kind of deal and not just a multiplayer deal. And we're seeing a trend where more games are doing that. I think they tried to really force the multiplayer thing, and a lot of people were complaining, like myself, and please give us a single-player campaign. Even Dead Island, as difficult as it is to really enjoy that as a kind of a solo single-player, capacity, you still can play it, as fun as it is. And even like Left 4 Dead, I still can play those games by myself with using the computer AI as my teammates, and you can still have fun with it. So I'm really looking forward to Ghost Recon Wildlands. Days Gone has been shown at the Sony press conference a while back. Kind of another zombie apocalypse biker, kind of a Sons of Anarchy meets The Last of Us, I suppose. It looks interesting. It looks really good. waves and like hordes of zombies. It looks like overwhelming. I watched the gameplay of it. It's just like there's millions of thousands of zombies coming at you, and the guy's like running, 3 feet in front of them and shutting gates and dropping, logs on them and all this stuff. It looks cool. It really looks good. The graphics look fantastic. I think it'll have all that, PS4 Pro HDR support and 4K, enhancement and all that stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know too much about it, but it looks really good from what I can see. Now another one is coming real soon. This is one of the games I'm probably one of the most excited. I'm perhaps more excited for this game than anything else, and that's this new Bulletstorm remaster. It's going to be fantastic. And you even can play the game with Duke Nukem, which kind of fits that tongue-in-cheek humor really well. And one of the characters you can play as Duke Nukem. This is one of my most anticipated games of 2017. And that's the Bulletstorm. I remember waiting up at the midnight launch to get this. I was afraid that the game was going to be too violent initially. You watch, they'll pull it off the shelves like Manhunt 2 and all this. So I'm going to pre-order it and go to the midnight launch and get it, because I could see the next day they'll pull it off the shelves. It's too hardcore. It's too violent. Today, it's a joke when you deal with Mortal Kombat XL, and so many of the other games are kind of in your face with the gore and violence and the enemy within, all these other games. I think that these are almost cartoon-like in the way of violence, looking back on them, but I am really looking forward to Bulletstorm. I'm one of the few people that seems to like the remasters, and I have no problem with them. Whether it's a BioShock remaster, The Last of Us, or Tomb Raider, I think it's a great deal. And the fact that they're going to take such an obscure game, and who knows, maybe if it does well, they'll do a sequel to it from People Can Fly or Epic Games. I don't know, the guys that worked on Gears of War, I guess, did this, but I love this game. It's one of my favorite games the year it came out, and I can't wait to see. And it's going to have like 4K support and HDR and all this great graphics. I'm really excited to get Bulletstorm. It's probably one of my top games I'm looking forward to. Sniper Elite 4. Now here's Sniper Elite 3. This is one of the better game reviews that I've done, especially visually. I actually used my Hauppauge HD PVR2 and captured footage. I did like a death cam montage as well on this. This is a great game. I think V2 is a little bit more linear and more difficult, but I like the fact that I could take my time in an open world and find the best solution to take care of my problems. And they gave you lots of options, and that's what I love about Sniper Elite 3. I just watched some brand new gameplay yesterday, and it just shows this gorgeous Italian coastline, kind of like the Mediterranean, with these, beautiful little dwellings on the cliff sides of Italy, it looks like. Just gorgeous graphics. It looks like we're going to have a lot more verticality with this new one. And it just looks great. Just more of the same. It's like a continuation of this, but in a whole new environment. And they'll probably introduce a few new mechanics as well. But this is one of my favorite series. I love this to death. You can plan on... this will be one of the few games that I'm going to really go out of my way and make sure I get, along with that Bulletstorm game, right off from day one. And I want to do as much gameplay as possible with this. I love this series. I'm so excited that we're going to have this. In fact, I need to get the physical edition of the Zombie Army Trilogy, which I downloaded day one in a digital format on my PlayStation 4. But I'm a huge fan of this franchise. It's so good. Next one is going to be... I have nothing... I don't have any of the old PS1 Wipeout games, unfortunately, but it's called Wipeout Omega Collection. I guess it's going to be somewhat of an HD remaster. Maybe they'll just kind of clean them up a little bit, but it's going to be a variety of a lot of the older Wipeout games, maybe redone, reimagined. I'm not really sure. I haven't seen too much on it, but I really love the Wipeout series. In fact, I need to get some of those early PS1 Wipeout games for my collection. I would love to see them do. I think it's going to be a great idea. I love the series. I love Jet Moto too. I just something about those kind of anti-gravity, just, riding super high speed, very fluid, in this futuristic, cockpits or whatever. I just think is a great idea. I've always loved those type of racing games. Just really, very sci-fi-ish, and I think it's going to really lend itself on these newer systems. Hopefully they're going to have all the bugs out of it. We'll have a fast frame rate, and you'll really get that fluid sense of speed is what I'm hoping. But Wipeout Omega Collection, I'm very much looking forward to that. Now the next one is, everyone's looking forward to this, and that's the new Red Dead Redemption 2. When Rockstar finally makes a sequel, you know it's going to be good, and they're going to pull out all the stops. And who knows, maybe I could even see a remaster of this coming when the new one comes out as well, which should be welcome. This got me through some tough times. I was away from home for 7 months working, and I absolutely loved my time with this. A fantastic story. I still need to finish this. I'll probably have to start it all over now. It's been so long since I've played it, but and maybe I will. This is a game that I really would like to replay. This one and Max Payne 3, I would like to replay all the way from the beginning and just re-experience them. Rockstar is so damn good. And you know this new Red Dead Redemption is going to be one of the best games of the year. Many of us are just going to be climbing the walls waiting and anticipating just what they're going to have in the game and what we can do. So they've got some kind of teaser trailers so far, but I like what I see, and I know you guys do too. Very excited about this. Now, I just ironically went to install, I've had this for about a year now. I got it for like $20, dirt cheap. I got Gran Turismo 6, and I go, hey, that's right, this was 2014. It had the new 2014 Corvette Stingray, and it has my Dodge Challenger from 2014 in this. So I said, you know, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to install this game and play it. I had no idea how horrendous the install. 8.5 hours to install this fucking game on my PlayStation 3. And the install would crash constantly. So every hour, hour and a half, the install would crash. It said you've got 13 parts of 21 parts to install, and they're in like 2 big parts. And it would just take forever just to install one segment of the 21 update files for this that I had to install. So it took me all night long. I went out at finally at 10. I started 2 in the afternoon, and then 10:30 at night. It finally finished the last few minutes of the install, which is insane. But actually, it plays great, and it looks at 1080p. It looks fantastic on my television, which upscales very nicely with this game. So I'm actually looking for, kind of like Forza, I'm going to start from the beginning and work my way through this. I don't know how far I'll get, but until the new Gran Turismo Sport comes out, and that's actually what I was about to get to, I'm going to enjoy this. But my God, the footage I've seen of this new Gran Turismo Sport looks amazing. They're going to really take advantage of the high dynamic range like never before, even accurate Ferrari shades of red, everything with the color palettes, super high resolution. I believe it's going to be in 4K native. I would imagine it's going to be at 60 frames per second, but who knows? I don't know. Maybe they'll have an option of, a 4K at 10. I don't know. They'll have 1 frame rate, kind of like, which is kind of in keeping with what's going on with the PS4 Pro enhanced games. Sometimes you have a choice of higher resolution, but at somewhat of like a 30 frames per second. So I'm not sure of all the details yet, and the game has definitely been delayed. I thought it would be out by now, but I've just been dying for an offline racing game that I can enjoy. Project Cars, I was initially excited, but there's no American cars. I mean, they have like a couple Mustangs, and that's it. There's really not much. I think they finally introduced a Corvette in one of these American racing, packages or DLC packs, but just not enough American cars for me. The Assetto Corsa game looks good, but I've heard very mixed things about the performance and even the visuals on that, so I haven't bought that yet. I've been real tempted, but this Gran Turismo Sport is going to be the ultimate game for me. The Drive Club, I'm still out. To me, it's an online game, but I understand that you can play aspects of it offline, so maybe I need to research that one more, but I am very excited about Gran Turismo Sport. It looks fantastic. Hopefully they'll have a more accurate audio. That's been the one weak link. Even as wonderful as the graphics look on these, they sound almost like dentist drills. I mean, they have this very synthesized electronic sound to all the motors, even the deeper, throatier, V8s American cars, which just sound unnatural. Well, that's where Forza, really knocks it out of the park, is they have like real sound clips of muscle cars with Flowmaster exhaust, and you really get that raw sound. It's something that these guys need to work on, but I'm hoping it's going to be a great game, and I know many of you are as well. So that's pretty much what I've got. As an honorable mention, I would say the Resident Evil 7 does look very good from what I've seen so far. It looks to be very intense. You can only imagine with that PlayStation VR thing. people are going to be dropping dead of heart attacks or hurling or God knows what. But it looks very good. And I would also give an honorable mention, although I'm not a big fan of it, because, again, another female protagonist. Every new game that's coming out has a female protagonist, but I love Killzone so much. And I like, and the devs that have done the Killzone series are doing this Zero Horizon Dawn. It looks fantastic. I certainly love the premise of kind of a future where, you know, robots have taken over. Kind of reminds me of that, what was it, fourth, I guess, Terminator movie. It was kind of similar with these giant robots and they're almost like dinosaurs. I mean, it looks very well done. It's going to certainly take advantage of the Sony's HDR and the 4K and all that stuff, upscaling. I'm sure it's going to be a gorgeous game. I might get it. I'm not sure. So I want to support, I think it's Guerrilla Games that's doing it. It looks fantastic visually. I just don't, I have to play as a, I play for immersions. So for me to play as a redheaded girl is just kind of breaks the immersion. I've been a huge fan of the Tomb Raider series, and I have no problem playing as Lara Croft because I've been doing it since the mid-90s, but it's going to be a challenge. But we'll see. It looks really good, and I certainly like the story. To me, they should have like you can play as a brother or sister, so that way you have a choice, or different races or what have you, but whatever. I mean, it looks good. I mean, obviously, they've kind of put all their eggs in one basket, telling a linear story with a character and everything, which is fine. But that's what I've got written down. Those are the games that I'm looking forward to in 2017. Let me know what you're looking forward to in the comments. I know that some of you will have some of these same games. You can tell I like a lot of the FPS games and shooters and stealth games and stuff like that. But it looks to have some fantastic games. God knows how many other wonderful indie titles that we're going to have. I don't do PC gaming, and I see a lot of games coming out and being reviewed for PC, but I get discouraged because they're not for the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. And the jury's still out on the Xbox One. Maybe this year, if I can swing it, I might get the Xbox One S to play Forza Horizon 3. I'm still waiting to hear about what you can play offline. Can the drivatars be switched off completely or not? Or, you know, I don't know. It's very confusing, but we'll see. If I can do the PlayStation VR thing, I think that's going to be set my sights on that. That's going to be my biggest priority this year if I can swing it, is that really I'd love to have that virtual reality. Already halfway there with the PS4 Pro. I think that'd be fantastic. I love everything I've seen that's out now and coming out for the PlayStation VR. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments what you're looking forward to the most, and I hope you have a wonderful 2017. We have some fantastic games coming out. It's going to be one of the best gaming years, I think, in a long time. So thanks so much for watching, and no matter what they are, enjoy your games.